these were not there initially. So apparently when both of you are putting money together, you're making money and you think you're making enough, is when one child, two children come in. That's when you realize that, this money not even reach anything. You sure you understand? So how do you manage all of that?
Let's go first.
We manage it. I think we talked about it. I don't know if we had originally said we'll have 3 children, but after the first 2 came, it's like we have to collect our brains back. These 18 plus years, right? If you count how old each of them are, 18 plus years of you not having your life back, right? In that sense, where everything you do has to be centered around these 2 children. And you also bring in the context now of neurodivergence. Like a lot of children are being born with special needs. So that itself adds another layer into the relationship. But yeah, we had talked about the number of children we would have, but also with the caveat that children are a gift of God, right? People can talk about everything they want to talk about, but you can enter that marriage and you wait 1, 2, how many number of years, children don't come, or in some cases you are never blessed with them. But I always say, parenting is not necessarily also about your own biological children. There are many ways to be a parent. Yeah, there are many ways to be a parent. So it was the realization, and just continuing to talk about it, and then not to forget society, right? We live in America where you don't have someone you can call agency and say, come and find me one girl that will come and live in our house and do all the work. So we had to manage that as well, manage expectations, which was not easy. There was a question of, I can't come and go and die, come and help. We had to talk about that a lot, which if you then come to a person's house, which I don't know if you hear this is a lot of issues for American couples, where the man is just doing a lot of work and then family members come in and say, what's all this domestication, right? That kind of thing. But it's the society. It's not because anybody wants to. If you left me, I will be less domesticated. I will, find somebody else to do the work for me in that sense. But since it's the society we live in, how do we manage, right, within the constraints that we find ourselves?
Yeah, Stanley.
What I want to add to what she's saying is that you need a support system.
You need it. It's true.
Spiritual, so right headspace, familial, in-laws, friends, people within your circle, so that that you're not going crazy. You're not hallucinating, you're not going crazy. And then you're able to talk among yourself. I don't use the word commiserate, but just compare notes that, and then have some older couples that have been through it to let you know that this phase also passes. Because, the messy in the middle, the idea is that this phase will never end and I'm going to die here, and that helps. The right type, but there's the right type of support. I mean, what we like to call friends of the marriage. You have your friends who want to hang out with you, want to tell you, but you have friends of the marriage, people that are friends of your union. And listen, I want this thing to succeed for you guys. These are the honest, authentic ones that will tell you, this is where we missed it. Yeah. If I could do over, these are the mistakes that we don't make the same mistakes that we made. And we have a couple like that that we talked about. Call the guy, watch out. When this thing happens, girl is just going to be looking at this baby as if you don't exist. Don't be angry. It's that phase to pass. So that type of support to kind of give, because you can read books. So this is what I say. You can read books, you can go to the class, but nothing really prepares you for the disruption, But I say that on the other side, though, as they start to grow and they start to have their own identity and they start to make you laugh, you forget the suffer head at the beginning. Let me stop there.
All right, both of you have something that you said in your book. I need a little bit of clarification on this. You said that God have your way in my life, and God bless the plan I have made for my life. What's the difference?
I think that was my line. So when I'll start with the latter. God bless the plan that I've made, is that I really want this phone. This is what I want, and God help me to get this phone by hook or crook. But God have your ways that if it's your will that I don't have a phone at all, I'm okay with that also. What's the difference? So I think a lot of times we make plans based on what we've seen other people or what we think we would like to have, and want God to seal it with a rubber stamp.
So in other words, we pile up pressure on ourselves.
And when God doesn't do it, yes. Exactly. And when God doesn't do it, you're like, my prayers are not. But the other is like, God, is this really your will? And even if it means eating your humbling pie and riding your bicycle, one other people are driving their 504, you're like, okay, I'm in the midst. I mean, I think as Nigerians and as immigrants and whatever, you will succeed one way or another, but there's God's own success, and then there's another that's the man-made success. People can't tell the difference, but you sitting in the seat, you know the difference. There's one that even with all this success, you're still not happy, and there's another one whereby even though it seems as though you've not succeeded, you're happy. You have peace of mind. Yeah.
Now, another thing that you said in your book, you say that spirituality will get you to a desired destination. Now, how do you explain that to a society where the end justifies the means? And also against the backdrop that, social media has come to stay. Nobody can take technology away. And social media marketing is a huge thing. Now, social media is a vehicle that fuels this, taking people away from the spiritual thing that you're talking about. How are you going to explain that? We're looking at, there's the Alpha generation now. There's Gen Z, there's Gen, how are you going to explain spirituality? What he said, God's time, God's plan. You're wasting my time now. How are you going to explain that to Alpha generation? Yeah, Otito.
Yeah, so I feel like some things are not explainable, right? In the sense that you role model one thing, right? So at least to the younger generation, you role model, and they have to walk through themselves, right? What you can do is say, I believe in this God, these are my values, right? We talk about values a lot in the book, and you model those values, because children will, there's no do as I say with them, is do as you do. Like, they will do what you are doing. They are sometimes a very explicit mirror of you, so you have to be careful to live on the straight and narrow in that sense, and then you basically give them to God and hope that they will follow in the path. But spirituality is experiential. You cannot experience spirituality for another person.
All right, I want to bring in Tonya. Tonya, I'll probably ask you the last question and then we're done with your book. Tonya.
Okay.
Beautiful couple. Yes, I would like to ask from the beginning. I would love to take the question from there. How were you able to cope when the initial separation came? You got the news that I don't think I want to continue with this relationship anymore. That is a very difficult thing to hear. It can break a woman into pieces. You waited that long and you are hoping to see him, and okay?
Yeah.
It came back, and then you're hearing this is the reason in the first place. How were you able to survive that stage? It's the survival.
It's real survival.
Let us see how you survived.
Of course.
It's real survival. So, I'm a very pragmatic person, which I think can be a negative sometimes, because they are just saying this is the reality. So remember at the beginning when I said we were saying go ahead and do traditional weddings, so you be the wife. I'm like, So I think it's that same thing of, if this is going to work, it's going to work either way. So, but then I was also working, right? I was also working on getting a visa, and I got a student visa. So I came to the US to do my PhD. So I'm actually a PhD doctor now.
Sure.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I came to do my PhD, right? And so for me, it was a question of, okay, I've gotten this news now, but I'm not going to be distracted. I think that was the thing of just not getting distracted. But the very first time before I got the visa, when he had given me that news, I called his I would say best friend to say, here's what your friend did, right? Here's what he said. And I mean, obviously I'm heartbroken, but I'm okay. I'm going to continue living my life. And that was like, no, I'm going to fix this, because I call him the fixer. He said, I'm going to fix this because you both were meant to be together. I'm like, but I don't see how that's going to happen, right? That was what I said to him. But I think he called him, they had a conversation, and then he kind of came back to say, okay, I'm going to try, but I really don't know how this is going to work out, which is what he was now saying about you make your own plans, but then God makes another plans. I don't know how this is going to work out. And I said, okay, I'm going to try from my own perspective to get, to try and come to the US. But to me, the straightest way to come was to get to apply for this master's PhD program, and that's what I had done. And that was a path that I think God wanted me to walk to in a way. So yeah.
All right, where can we get this book?
Amazon. So we're trying to work with a Nigerian publisher, so at least it's available in Nigeria, but we have the Kindle version on Amazon, and we have the paperback version as well on Amazon for those who are able to get it from there. But like I said, we're trying to work with a publisher in Nigeria so that it will be available in bookstores in Nigeria.
I want to thank both of you, but before you leave, let me confirm with Dr. Owe, you have questions for Stanley and Otito.
Okay, yeah, I have a question for Dr. Stanley. You said when you greeted her and then you did not see it and went back. You went back to greet her that, you missed the greeting. And you said something about preparing for exam, even if you fail it, at least you'll have gotten a check. But here at the end of the day, pass the exam.
That's a good one. I didn't see that coming.
To be 100% honest, if the exam I'm thinking about, I failed the exam.
Wow. But you got the cheek.
But you got the cheek.
Yeah, I got the cheek.
100 level was brutal.
Yes, I know.
Hit or miss.
Everybody's always together. Yeah, before going to school of
miss.
Yes.
All right. Again, I want to thank both of you.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
When possible.